Will the FX3 II actually be any good? When the A7S III came out and then the FX3 came out, it was kind of a game changer in terms of being able to provide accessible filmmaking to normal people like you and me. They both became some of the most popular cameras for filmmaking in the world. But it's been like 4 years since the FX3 came out. It's been like 5 years since the A7S III came out. And there has been an onslaught of crazy cameras come out since then, specifically real recently with the Canon C50 and the Nikon ZR. So what does the FX3 II have to be in order to be a dominating camera like the FX3 has been for the past 4 years? Because it's got some stiff competition now. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for a video. Here on the Aperture Life, we go over pretty much everything content creation, photography, filmmaking, lighting, Lightroom tutorials, editing, camera and lens reviews. So if you're into that sort of thing, don't forget to subscribe. So I just wanted to have like a conversation and nerd out with you guys about what the FX3 II needs to be in order to, one, be a success for Sony, and two, in order for it to be good enough to consider upgrading from an FX3 or an A7S III. I'm super into camera specs and I'm super into rumors, but I use this stuff every day. I've made over 400 YouTube videos and I'm a published and printed photographer. So I'm coming at this from a professional use case of what this camera needs to be in order to upgrade or in order to be a success. And the first thing that I think it probably needs is OpenGate. I think at this point and moving forward from here, OpenGate is kind of a necessity for certainly every cinema camera and probably every hybrid camera moving forward. There's a lot of people that are real set on OpenGate, and I get it. One, it makes much better use of like 2x anamorphic lenses, which is great and a way to level up your productions. Two, it's a way to reframe your shots for social media. We all have to post tons and tons of stuff on Instagram and TikTok, and being able to shoot it once in OpenGate in that square format and then crop it for both YouTube and for social media in the same clip is, I think it's going to become more and more necessary as time goes on. So I think OpenGate is kind of a non-negotiable. The FX3 II has to have OpenGate. The next thing that it really needs, which I'm sure it will get, is better autofocus. I'm filming this on my A7 IV, and when I got my FX3A, I was kind of surprised that the autofocus is worse in the FX3A than on my A7 IV. That was a pretty shocking discovery for me because the FX3A, the FX3 came out after the A7 IV. Now it's still good autofocus, but it's definitely not as sticky, and sometimes in a scene just like this, it'll get confused and grab the background. Certainly the FX3 II will have Sony's latest and greatest AI chip and the greatest subject detection and their latest and greatest autofocus, which will be fine. I have no qualms about what the autofocus will be in the FX3 II. It'll be incredible, but it absolutely needs an upgrade. The next thing is it probably needs a better screen. Now, the screen on the FX3A is significantly better, over twice the resolution of the FX3. So this has a 2.63 million dot display on it, and it's pretty solid. It's significantly better than the 1.03 million dot display in my A7 IV. It's brighter, it has more than double the resolution. So the FX3A does have a better screen than the Canon C50 that just came out. However, the Nikon ZR is a pretty awesome screen. And the thing that Sony is known for when they release these cameras is being segment killers. At the price range that they drop the camera, they usually stomp on everything. So that's kind of the position I'm coming at this fun nerd out conversation from, is like, it's got to be incredible if they're going to stomp on the C50 and the Nikon ZR. So I do think an upgrade of a screen would be nice and probably necessary, but the FX3A does already have a better screen than the Canon C50. Now, one of the FX3's advantages is that it has a low megapixel sensor, a 12 megapixel sensor, and this gives it a couple things. One, this gives it incredible low light capability, and it gives it it incredibly fast readout speed, meaning that it has some of the best rolling shutter specs, even over the cameras that have just come out. And we get full frame 4K 120 in the FX3. I don't think we need any faster than full frame 4K 120. Like that's enough to me. But I would like to see a slightly higher resolution sensor, as long as it doesn't come at the detriment of rolling shutter. I think moving up to like a 16 megapixel sensor, which would be like a 5.3K image, so that way we could downsample and have a little bit crispier of an image. I think that would be cool, because the image on my A7 IV is definitely higher resolution. It's downsampled from 7K. It's definitely higher resolution when you punch in on something than the FX3. And having just a little bit more resolution, I think would be pretty cool. And especially when comparing it to the new Canon C50 and the new Nikon ZR, both of them have larger megapixel counts. So you're gonna be able to punch in with more detail. And I think the FX3 II probably needs to do the same thing. The next thing that it needs is more dynamic range. The dynamic range on this is great. Gerald Undon's medium score on the FX3 was at 13.1 usable stops of dynamic range, which is really good. But now we're in this place where all these cameras coming out, that's kind of average in the segment. And so I think the FX3 II probably needs another half stop or maybe even full stop of dynamic range if it's actually gonna be a segment killer, if it's actually gonna convince people like me and you to upgrade from the FX3. We gotta have a little bit more dynamic range. Now, I have complained about this in other videos, but please, for the love of God, Sony, will you stop making the image on an external monitor significantly smaller when you turn HDMI info display on? Like, there's no reason for that, because you have a 5-inch monitor that's great and usable on an external monitor, and then as soon as you turn display HDMI info on, it shrinks to the size where now you need like at least a 6-inch monitor for it to be usable. And it's real infuriating to me. There's no reason for that. Just put the info over the top of the image like I'm looking at on my A7 IV screen right now. There's just no reason for it whatsoever. Please stop doing this. Please fix this, Sony. Now, I think the next thing that the FX3 II really needs, if it's gonna be a segment killer, is internal RAW. While I don't anticipate needing to use this myself for stuff like YouTube videos and shorts and short videos and short documentary style stuff, I do think that if they want it to be a killer, it needs internal RAW. And it probably needs a little bit more than 100 megabytes per second data rate. So I think the next one needs to have a little bit beefier codecs if it wants to compare with the other cameras that have come out. Now, there is one thing that will make me sell my FX3 in a heartbeat for the FX3 II, and that's if it has a global shutter. I think the thing that will seal the deal for the FX3 II is if they come out with a global shutter, a little bit more dynamic range, better autofocus, and slightly beefier codecs. That would be it. Like, if they just did that, I would immediately buy it the second that it comes out. So please, Sony, please, 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 you already have global shutter in the A9 III, whichever camera it is. We know you can do it. Put global shutter in the FX3 II. That will absolutely make it a banger, bona fide success. Sell your cameras and buy the FX3 II. At least for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if it doesn't have all of it, if it isn't all of that stuff, then I probably will not buy the FX3 II, and I will continue happily using my FX3A. I have full videos on the channel about this camera, about this rig, how I've set everything up. So be sure to check out the other videos on the channel. If you've made it this far, I feel like I've earned your subscription and a thumbs up and a comment. Doing that stuff is a huge, huge help to a tiny channel like this. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing and commenting and liking. And I will also put links in the description for everything that I use, all my lights, all my cameras, all my lenses. There are affiliate links in the description below. If you use those links, it costs you nothing extra, but it goes just a little ways each time you do that to help a channel like this grow and help me keep making videos just like that. Thank you guys for using those affiliate links anytime you need to purchase any camera gear whatsoever. I'm also working on a video on this IRIX lens. It should be out very soon. Fantastic cinema lens. So be sure to subscribe for that. And I guess that'll do it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.